No more one day, okay? We're not doing the same vision planning that we did for last year. We are getting specific and clear about our intentions, because if you don't know where you're going, then how do you expect to ever get there? Hello friends, today we are talking about how to realistically make this the best year of your life by intentional vision planning, goal setting, dream mapping, whatever you would like to call it. We are gonna cover all of that today. When it comes to getting everything you want out of life, I think the first thing to really hone in on is be completely honest with yourself and know that no one is going to hand it to you. You can continue dreaming that same dream year after year after year, but unless you actually put forth some type of effort, you're still going to be in the same place in 365 days. And obviously you're here because you're tired of that and you want this year to look different. Every year it's, new year, new me, but how many goals did you realistically accomplish this year when you could have if you would have just done things a little bit different and moved with intention? Intention without strategy is just wishful thinking. Let's do things a little bit differently this time. Today is going to be split into a couple of topics and a couple of key important things to focus on to really change the direction of your life in 2023 or whenever you are watching this video. Also want to go ahead and note, you don't have to wait until the beginning of the year to start making these changes. You actually should not wait until the beginning of the year to make these changes. If you are finding this somewhere in the middle of the year and you just want to start now, then start now. Starting with mindset. Before I even get into pulling up the pictures and getting everything ready for my vision planning, what I like to do is reflect. I want to look at everything that I wanted to accomplish this year, how much of it got done, how much of it didn't get touched at all, and just give myself a moment of honesty, just a nice moment of reflection without judgment. Okay, I think that's super important because the past is the past. Don't spend your time in the past regretting everything that didn't happen. Let's just go ahead and move forward. So spend some time reflecting. For me, that honestly looks a lot like journaling. I look at my notes. I like to look at photographs and just things that have changed over the year. The people who were in the pictures at the beginning of the year who aren't in the pictures now, the way that my body, my hair has changed, the type of food that I was eating, places that I've traveled, things that I've purchased, how much time I spent with family and friends, how much time I spent on social media. This is when I like to now spend time starting to build trust, encouraging myself, congratulating myself for the things that I have done, because you have to trust yourself in order to go on this journey and be successful. All of those doubts that you keep allowing to sink in and paralyze you, those can't go with you where you're trying to go. So this is the time to kind of have a praise moment for yourself. Encourage yourself. Look at all you've accomplished. Maybe you didn't reach your goal of going to the gym 5 times a week, but a year ago you didn't go to the gym at all and you've started going every week. You've started going every month. You have made a lot of progress in the right direction. So these are the moments where you want to really just praise yourself and big up yourself. Because you know what? You still accomplished a lot, whether you got where you wanted to or not, and you're still here and you're watching this video, which means that, again, you are on the right path. I also like to take a moment to start eliminating my excuses of why I'm not reaching my goals. So we touched on this a little bit in my last video. If you haven't checked it out, I will have it linked. But eliminate your excuses. Stop coming up with a why you can't and come up with a how you can, okay? If it's something that ultimately has to get done, at the end of the day, you have to find a way and not an excuse. So start preparing your mind. You are going to have to be ready to dedicate time to vision out how your life will look. Here's something that I like to tell my friends when they talk about a dream that they think seems so out of reach. Imagine the things that you want in life the most. Is it impossible for you to have them, really? Is it really unattainable? Like, is there no way that you could have that life? Or could you have that life if you made certain sacrifices, if you took certain steps? Because if you can honestly envision yourself in that space, it is because it is possible. If this is something that you dream about and you talk about all the time, like word vomit, and you really see for yourself, you can have it. You really can have those things, and you have to believe it. You absolutely have to believe it. Now, if where you are struggling and getting stuck is in believing it, take a break right there immediately and let's just address that issue, because gotta get your confidence up to walk into that new season of your life. You have to believe it. It's time to explore past your current reality. Don't base your dreams off of what you have accomplished today and knowing like, oh, I've only done this and I've only done that. We're changing that mindset. Every single thing that you've accomplished even this far in life has required you to push past certain limits and beliefs that you once thought were true. So now is the time, perfect time, again, no matter when you're finding this video, to have clear focus and start preparation for your future. I'm definitely a firm believer in looking myself in the mirror and talking to myself, hyping myself up, because even though it might sound crazy, might feel like you're a little bit, it kind of gives you the feeling of like you're in a movie, but that's honestly how I like to look at my life. Like it's a movie, because you're writing the script and you can choose to write whatever narrative you want. So moving forward, why not write out everything that you want? Why not follow the script? So I like to look at myself in the mirror and encourage myself. So if you've never tried that before, I'm gonna encourage you to try that and say something like this to yourself. You have gained so much knowledge and experience this year. You have all the tools that you need to make your best life come true. You are capable of making smart decisions about what you want your life to look like. And you are also capable of making smart decisions about what you do not want your life to look like. You are no longer gonna spend time avoiding making decisions, because that is also a decision. The pace at which you move is not as important as continuing to move. So with that being said, let's eliminate our excuses. Instead of getting stuck on the negative what ifs, what if you imagine the positive what ifs? Instead of what if this goes wrong, what if I get embarrassed, what if people don't like it, what if people talk about me, what if all your dreams come true, what if it works out better than you ever planned for, what if along the way the detours cause you to be in the right place at the right time, what if you meet someone who's gonna change your life forever, what if putting yourself out there shows you that you're more than capable and boosts your confidence? What if you can teach someone else a lesson along the way? Imagine positive what ifs instead of negative what ifs. And either way, a what if is always going to be a what if. So do not let it stop you from starting the journey. Now, with all of these, positive mindsets that you have started to implement, this is where you need to actually put in place a plan. And I think that vision planning is a great way to do it, because putting physical reminders in front of you is going to encourage you every single day to stay the course. And it's very easy to be distracted. So sometimes you need to have those things mapped out in front of you. Think about the people who you look up to. Maybe someone that you follow on TikTok or Instagram, or a podcast that you listen to, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love the way that they run their business. I love the way that they speak. I love the way that they show up every single day. Do you really think that they have just arrived there one day, they just woke up and they became this person? Or do you believe that they sat out, took time to plan and create structure and cross off tiny little steps that all fit into the bigger picture? And just like them, you are going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to take those steps and work your way up to being there. So no more winging it every day until we get there, okay? And for those of you who are believers, I also want to state to you, praying about it and leaving it alone is not always the answer. Now, do you need to sometimes wait to hear from God? Absolutely. But faith without works is dead. So just saying, oh, God has given me this dream and one day this is going to happen. One day is the same as no day if you do not have plans in place to get there. So now that we are done operating from a scarcity mindset and we are just sprinkling delusion and abundance all over everything that has to do with us, let's get into the vision planning. You want to start by finding goals that you are emotionally attached to. What are those things that keep you awake at night? What are those things that you truly believe, I am so good at this, if I would just apply myself, if I would just be more consistent, if I would just show up, if I would just take that course, this could be me? What are those things that you believe about yourself? Now, your vision board should be specific to you, but in case you are completely lost and you have no idea where to start, I'm gonna let you kind of use me as a reference, and my next upload on Wednesday will be me actually putting my vision board together. So if you wanna join me for that, go ahead and subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss my next upload. Things that I'm gonna include on my vision board, to be very specific, are places that I want to travel, my style, so how do I wanna dress, how do I want my hair to look? What type of shoes do I want to wear? What type of bag do I want to carry? Because all of this is going into imagining my very best self and what she looks like. And I want to show up as her, and I want to have a clear vision of who she is. So I will include hairstyles that I want to try this year, stuff that will continue making me feel pretty, creative, that express myself, and that make me look and feel good. I want to include styles for my nails that I want to do this year. I've been debating on if I want to start doing them on my own. Get specific. I will be including my fitness goals with photos of my dream body and also workouts that I want to try, healthy foods that I want to start implementing into my lifestyle, water goals, stretching goals, everything that has to do with fitness. I will be including pictures of plants that I want to start having in my environment. If you have not realized how much of an effect your environment has on your mental, start paying attention to those things. And for me, I know it affects some more than others, and I'm definitely one of those extremely affected people, but if my space is full of plants and candles and warm throw blankets, I instantly feel more connected, more creative. And some people might think that those things are not necessary, but I noticed the shift in myself. So I want to surround myself with more plants this year, more candles this year, and more things that make me feel able to express myself. I'm going to include my car goals. To be specific, I want to finish paying off my car, and I want to put a date on it, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I'll be including skincare goals, morning routine goals, home improvement goals, romantic relationship goals, friendship goals, time spent with God. I want to get more into my word. I want to spend more time reading things that are going to fuel me, listening to things that are going to fuel me, and a little bit less time on social media. And I want to make a space for learning. I want to attend more YouTube courses, more self-help things that are going to continue to push me on the right path. So the goal is small but continuous steps in the right direction, so that way you aren't getting overwhelmed and just getting paralyzed by fear. In addition to taking small steps and small actions, I want to make small promises to myself, like I'm going to water the plants today, or I'm going to try out a new recipe because I want to start learning different things to cook. And I want to say, I'm not sure who this video is going to reach, but I do want to remind you that your dream does not have an age limit. I don't want you to think because your dream is something that you wanted to do 10 years ago and you didn't, that it's too late to do it now. If you still feel that urge, if you still feel that desire, if you still are talking about it, dreaming about it, thinking about it all the time, it's time to simply take action. Doesn't matter how long ago that dream came into your head. If it's still there, let's get it done. After you start taking small steps in the right direction, let's focus on the feeling that comes with that, which is being proud, feeling accomplished, and that gives you momentum and adrenaline. This is such a great tool because this will push you to keep going. So if you know that I have 2 things on my list to accomplish first and you do those, you're gonna feel so much more inspired, so much more connected to do the next things. And when you are feeling completely unmotivated, completely like, why did I start this in the first place? This is when that vision board is gonna come in handy to give you those physical reminders of why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Remember, on your journey to reaching all of these goals, to find ways to recharge and really lock in on what your goal is, what you're focused on. Sometimes I notice myself just feeling like completely burnt out. I might not have even done a lot of physical activity, but if I pay attention to what I've been consuming, which could be a lot of trash TV, a lot of TikTok, a lot of social media, a lot of music that I like to listen to, but there hasn't been a balance, I don't feel as good. But once I turn on something that's encouraging, like a podcast or gospel, or I call my mom and I talk to her and she leaves me feeling refueled, those things are important. And if you don't know what things help you to feel recharged, now's the time to figure it out. In addition to me talking about the aesthetic of things, how it affects me, lighting a candle and cleaning my room helps me to feel balanced. Sitting outside at the dog park with my dog and letting him running around and getting fresh air helps me to feel recharged and rebalanced. So whatever that is for you, you need to map that out because you need to have kind of your emergency self-care kit on standby. When you know I'm feeling low, I'm feeling like this, what can I do to pull myself out of this? And sometimes the answer is simply rest. Don't underestimate the power of rest. Resting can put you so far ahead, but just make sure that everything is in balance. Let's discuss goal setting. I want you to schedule some time to have uninterrupted creative freedom and just write out first, all of the things that you want to accomplish this year. Let's not stop there though, because that is what I think everyone does every single year and it's not producing the results that we want. So what we're gonna do different this time is really be specific, intentional, and break it down. So let's identify what matters most in what you're trying to accomplish. Write down those 2 or 3 things that matter most, and now break those 2 or 3 things down into a bunch of smaller goals and put a deadline on it. Put a deadline on it, because again, when you have those, oh, someday, one day goals, how often do those actually get done? One day I really want to go to this store. One day I really want to try out this restaurant, and one day this and one day this. Change the one day into actually happening by putting a timestamp on it. So for example, if you're saying you want to pay off a debt or you want to save more money, how much money do you want to save and what date do you want to have it saved by? What debt are you trying to pay off and when do you want to have it done? Get very specific. I'm going to give you guys a personal example, which again, we'll go more into this in my next video of me doing my vision board. I want to pay off my car note and I want the balance to be $0 before the end of the year, before my birthday, which is at the end of the year. So in order to be on track for reaching that, I need to have other little breakdowns. So that means by March, my balance needs to look like this. And then by September, my balance needs to look like this. So that way by December, I should be making my last payment. And if you are not on track at each point of the year, it's probably not realistic. But if you also just put, oh, I want to get this paid off and you have no plan on how to do it, it's also not realistic. So break your goals down and get extremely specific with them. I promise you it's going to make the biggest difference. You are going to actually start seeing yourself do what you said you were going to do. And you're going to finally start building the life that you've always wanted. I'm going to share with you guys a quote that I just heard today, and it's an extreme game changer. I think it's very relevant to everything that we're talking about in today's video. It's a quote by Nathan Whitley, and it goes like this: "The pain of regret is far worse than the pain of discipline. The pain of regret is far worse than the pain of discipline." Like, that man really said something when he said that, because what he's saying is basically at some point the pain of not doing it, not working towards that goal, becomes so much worse than doing it. Let's take the gym for example. It might be really hard to get up, put on your clothes, drive there, and be uncomfortable with all of those people who are more muscular than you, who seem more strong than you, who seem more knowledgeable than you. But is that pain worse than the lack of confidence that you feel when you look in the mirror? Is that pain worse than you not being able to fit your clothes, so you have to continue spending money that you thought you were going to save? Which pain is worse? Which pain is worse? And what are you going to do to implement that discipline and structure regardless of how you feel? So determine what's important now. Get some clarity on it. Clarity is going to give you so much more confidence. So spend some time researching, spend some time figuring out exactly how you need to break your goals down. And having that confidence, again, is like the momentum and the adrenaline. It's going to push you to keep taking steps in that right direction. So no more wishful thinking in 2023. No more intention without a strategy. So with that being said, let's recap on all the things that you need to put yourself in the right position to set yourself up for success. I want you to work on your mindset, learn how to motivate yourself even when you aren't getting the motivation from others. Learn what it takes for you to reset when you are feeling like you need to recharge and refuel. Learn how to stay disciplined. You guys, there are a million resources out there for you. You have to break up with the excuses. Like I say, don't find an excuse, find a way. Continue to take small steps in the right direction. And remember, the pace that you move is not as important as the fact that you're moving regardless. If you're moving slow, you are still moving. And some of us, that's a lot more, we can say, than the previous years. And then with your vision planning or your dream board, make sure that you are putting goals on there that really excite you, things that align with you. And really make sure you take the time to get your mental mindset right before you even go putting that vision together. really imagine your best self. Imagine your best self. I want you to leave in the comments what your best self looks like. And if you didn't have those limiting beliefs, what do you think that you could get accomplished? If you didn't see last week's video on 5 habits that will change your life going into 2023, I urge you to watch that and go ahead and turn on your post notifications so that you can catch Wednesday's upload so we can vision plan together. I love you guys so much, and I will see you on Wednesday. Mwah.
And wash me over until my will runs dry. Send all your sins all over me, baby, baby.